This is a first for our haunted book club. We did not know what we wanted to read together. Okay, so if you voted for it, at the end of the vote, I feel like we were all kind of in the same category where we didn't really care which one won. We wanted both of them. This is what we ended up with, 50-50. We could not make up our mind. Instead of throwing a coin to choose which one we were going to read, I decided to pick based on the crochet hook that I wanted to use for the month, which is Immortal. We are going to be reading We Live Here Now. Do they not match perfectly? And then also it has a fun side, so that way once I'm done reading it, I can decide how I want to display it in the yarn dungeon on my bookshelf, either up like this, could be on the side. I can stack them. I have some areas back there that I can stack. Right now I just have 2 books. Oh, I have the Gothic Town. Very much liked that one. And that would actually, because that one's also a red and black book. Stunning, shocking, terrifying. You know it's coming, but you'll never guess what it is. A riveting modern Gothic tale. After an incident that nearly kills her, Emily and her husband Freddie move from London to a beautiful Dartmoor country house called Larkin Lodge. The house is gorgeous, striking, and to Emily, something about it feels deeply wrong. So we have a little bit of a haunted house action slash haunted human. I like when we see, again, modern Gothic tales like this where it's not always the house. I don't know, I'm just guessing, but it's not always the house that has all the secrets. It more often is the main character and what is going on in their life. Old boards creak at night, fires go out, and books fall from the shelves, and all of it stems from the terrible presence she feels in the 3rd floor bedroom. But these things happen only when Emily's alone. So, are they happening at all? Another trope that I love from haunted house stories, all of the spooky events are focused on one character. As a reader, we have to decide, okay, is this actually happening? Is it in their head? I feel like I'm really gonna like this one. I mean, I knew I was gonna really like it because either one of them I would have been totally fine with. But this is the one that we're gonna be reading together. So if you wanna join, it starts today. We're getting in on this one. Grab your Immortal hook if you wanna have a full-on theme like me. And I need to decide what project now, because here's what I have going on already. It does not match at all, but I'm almost done. So like maybe just finish it up, you know, and then I can get into something that matches this a little bit better. This is the Hirschner's Monster Mash. It's going to be placed on tables that I have my candle holders on, and this one goes, like, it matches with some of my candle holders, and then I have the candle chosen for that. I think I'm going to do, well, okay, Monster Mash. Should we do just like a pumpkin spice to go with this one? I feel like that kind of ties it all together. I'm doing a half double crochet, and yeah, I'm using my red hook just because this is a metal one and it's like my go-to one, especially when I want to sit down and go really fast. I'm reaching for my metal crochet hooks. I just wanted a chance to really use these. I mean, it's a Furls resin hook. I've used these many, many times. I have tons of them, but it's brand new. So I wanted to put it together. I think I have about 4 more rows left, and then I'm going to do a picot border around it. Okay, so that's decided. I have this whole area that I'm going to be putting together. It's like this little table. I have candles, coffee, books, and crochet all there, especially on Sundays. I mean, I am calling this Slow Sundays for the 100 Nights to Halloween, to give myself a little moment to reflect on everything that's happened or about to happen, because tomorrow on Monday we are going to be starting our crochet along officially, and then it's go, go, go. We're going to have so many things happening. So just having this spot in my house and also the time. I'm going to set aside 45 minutes to an hour every single day, whether or not I do that all like in one chunk, or maybe like 30 minutes in the morning, 30 at night, to read this book, light a candle, and just have a Halloween moment. So I need to actually set that up in our Halloween binder. So if you go all the way to the last page in the zine, I'm not sure that I have it bookmarked because it's the last page. Oh, I do. We have this book review back here. There are a couple of things in here, like my favorite quote, my reading status, the book in one sentence. It's best to kind of do it as I'm reading the book. Obviously, things are going to pop out and be like, okay, let's do this. That's my favorite quote. If I don't write it down that second, I'm going to forget about it. Or there's going to be other ones that are also really good, but weren't entirely my favorite. Post-it notes. Let's grab some of those. I think I need to add that to the binder. I want to mark this book up with post-it notes. I don't like writing on my books, but But if there is a quote that pops out or a part of the book that is really just like, oh my gosh, that was so spooky, or I didn't see that coming, I plan on writing it down here. Also, we are going to be chatting about this on the Fable app, which is just a really good way to get into the book with the rest of the Ghoul Squad without getting spoilers, because you specifically have to go to a chapter in order to see what's going on. That way you don't accidentally see something that's happening that you haven't gotten to that part yet. We're here to enjoy the entire book together, you and I, so no spoilers will be happening over there. But today is officially the first day that we're going to be starting reading it, so go ahead, grab your copy, audiobook, or if you're like me and you want the tangible book because it has the fun book pages, either way, start reading that up today and put together that page for your binder. I have some Hocus Pocus ones. I'm not even sure that I've used that many of them, but I have a huge stack of this, and that will fit perfectly in here. I do have that page or that insert that is like an envelope, but I think for this, yeah, there we go. Post-it, I have my pen. I am also going to be reading the second option. So if you didn't vote for We Live Here Now, I am going to read Cold Eternity. If you are like me and you love space horror, this is probably the one that you voted for. And also the cover is just extra spooky. There's like so much, but not that much all at once. But it just, I feel super creeped out just looking at this. The color, what is this? Like, what is this? That's a huge no for me. If I am on a spaceship, that's not a room that I'm going in. No one gets out alive. So this particular author, I have read other books from them. Ghost Station was one of them. I know there are a couple other that I saw on the front here. Oh, and Dead Silence. I've also read that one too. Spooky space horror, they are just really, really good with that. There are so many things that could go wrong in space just in and of itself without adding some sci-fi elements to it. And then once you open up that category, like, I am sucked into these books immediately. The concept of this is what happens when, if and when, we as humans decide to travel from Earth and go to other planets or live on space station. What happens from Earth to the space station with our dead? What do we do with that? Are we just designating a giant room and waiting till we get to a place? Okay, but then when we get to that place, what if the resources are limited and we can't, like on Earth, dig into the ground? We can't do cremation. What are we doing with this? Like, we're not just going to be launching people out into space or leaving them on the space station. And our main character is on a ship that is just full of people that have died from one reason or another, all in a space station, and they have turned it into almost a museum of sorts. So at one time, people could walk through and see the quote-unquote residents, is what they're calling them, in their designated areas, just waiting for whatever is happening next. I think that is terrifying. I love that. There are so many different ways that I can see this book going already. If you like space horror, I will be reading this one and we can chit chat about it at the end of August for both of them. You can decide to read one, the other, or both like me. If you have a queue that you need to fill up for August, here's two of them already. And then I do have one final one that I'm going to be reading, and this one is just for fun. Hour of the Pumpkin Queen. So I read the Pumpkin Queen, the very first one that came out, and that one was fun. It's very lighthearted. I mean, it's Nightmare Before Christmas themed. It's all about Sally Skeleton. And again, we have some fun pages on the outside. So just these three stacked on my nightstand, that's fantastic. I didn't have anything planned out for the theme of my nightstand this month, so I think that's good. Also, I like having all three of the books that I'm reading together. Sometimes I get into a book like this one, I feel like I'm going to read it start to finish, but other times I like to jump around a little bit. Last month, I did end up finishing 3 books. The first one is our Haunted Book Club choice, which was Smile for the Cameras. It claimed to be a gloriously glossy slasher, and if you are a fan of 90s horror flicks, that you are going to really, really like this. I don't think that I would categorize this as a slasher horror book. There was not a ton of slashy moments. So if I take that out of the picture and don't really think about that, because I kept expecting that. Like I was reading the stories and it was more of a psychological horror or like horror thriller, really. We follow this group of actors and actresses that had created this really slashy movie years ago. I think it said, yeah, 20 years ago. They created this. They're coming back together for a reunion. All of them were kind of blackmailed into coming back into it. Not a lot of them really wanted to do this reunion, but for one reason or the other, they are here. They are going to power through the weekend, collect their bag, then move on with hopefully better careers from doing this. The main character that we follow, we really get into the ins and outs of why they didn't want to be there. That part, in my opinion, was drug really, really far. I mean, you could pretty much figure out what was going on or why things were a little bit off, why this main character, Ella, did not want to be there from the beginning. So I don't really think it needed to be that big of a reveal. The one thing that I will say was very campy about this book was the ending. I didn't guess the ending at all, not even remotely. When it happened, I just had to reread the couple of those pages again. I was like, wait, okay. And then read a couple of pages and kind of go back again. It's like, okay, that was a wild twist and turn, but we're here. So once the action started, it went really quickly. Like I followed why we got there. There were just so many other ways that it could have turned out. I was kind of expecting one of the main characters to be the slasher. So from that standpoint, it was a good book. I mean, I never stopped reading it. Once I started, I wanted to find out what was going on. So I kept picking it up night after night until it was done. I'm still going to give this a 4 out of 5 bats because it was interesting. As long as you go into it thinking that it's going to be a thriller, psychological horror, and not an all-out slasher, super campy book, which is what I thought it was going to be, I think you'll have a good time with it. This next one did not live up to the hype that I had around it, and it was all self-inflicted. Like, it kind of checked all the boxes that I want. Murderous Game, based in the 80s. Like, I mean, the cover alone. Okay, so we have this video game, you go to the back, and there's this bloody handprint. I'm like, okay, cool. Fan of Stephen King and Stranger Things, this book is for you. So the idea of this video game, once you play it, causing chaos for the entire small town on Halloween night, like that setup right there was so fun. And I was just waiting for more to happen. I kept setting this book down and being like, okay, come on, like let's just finish it. Maybe it was just the mood that I was in, you know, pick it up again, try it. But every time I picked it up, it drug. The last 2 chapters were probably my favorite. The final chapter, no, I did not like that chapter at all. I'm not going to do any spoilers for it, but I did not enjoy the ending. I would have liked the second to last chapter to have been the finale. I think that would have been perfect and more of a, oh wow, okay, that's where we're ending it. Everything didn't need to be all tied up and wrapped in a perfect bow for me. I could have been left with a couple more questions at the end. We were just following different lines of the story sometimes that really drug on for me. So sadly, this is a 2 out of 5 bats for me, which I know seems kind of harsh. I couldn't get into it. However, I am keeping the book. I love the color combination and I am definitely a fan of 80s horror. So this is going to be good decor and it'll at least be a conversation starter. You know, if someone comes into the yarn dungeon and is like, hey, what about this book? I'm like, okay, listen here. The cover drew me into, but lastly, we have The Starving Saints. Cannot say enough good things about this. 5 out of 5 bats. Just throwing that out there immediately before I chat about it. It was wild, like start to finish. The world building on this was so magical. Holy crap on a stick. This book is messed up in the best way. That is the first review, a transfixing fever dream of medieval horror. That is exactly what it felt like. From page 1, you felt like you were in this crazy dream of things that you can relate to in this world, but also we get pulled into the supernatural really quickly and they blend together so nicely. Like the cohesion of this book is beautiful, start to finish. I would read this book like today. I would start it over right now and read it. I actually have this copy and then I have an audiobook version too, because I just wanted to see the voice actor if I liked it that way. And if you are into audiobooks, definitely check this one out. It's another book that starts and just doesn't give up. Even at the end, you're left kind of like, that was a ride. I feel exhausted in the best way possible. Like, you feel for these characters. They are in these dire situations and you want them to make it out, but you can't see them having any sort of way through. Like, all of their options are essentially cut off, but you still want them to make it through. To what end? We don't know. But you want them to get there. So that is everything that I read from July. All the things that I'm about to read in August. If you have suggestions, as always, leave them in the comments or on Fable. Now we have to go over to our Halloween binder and figure out what movie we are going to be watching today. It is Slow Sunday, so we have our movies, Series Saturday, Slow Sunday on the bottom. We are going to be watching Getaway. This movie, you can find it on Shudder. And it is such a good campy movie. This family gets on a boat and goes to the secluded island for a summer holiday when right away the residents are super hostile. Like, they do not want them there. They are having a celebration of their own and the outsiders are not welcome. They make that very clear from the start, but this family, for one reason or another, is like, you know what? No, this is our holiday. We have our B&B booked already. We're gonna stay here. The residents continue to do things to mess with this family, being like, just leave. Please leave. Get off of our island. Leave before you can't leave is what they keep saying, because there is only one boat that can get them on and off of this island. Things escalate very quickly at the end. I wouldn't call it a slow burn movie. It definitely builds to where the last 20 minutes are just all out, super campy, slashy horror. Like, this was such a fun Summerween movie. So get out on Shudder, throw that on tonight, and don't forget to start our read, We Live Here Now. I'm going to be starting this right after I let you go. If you want to follow on the day-to-day, that is over on Fable. And especially once I finish it, I will be doing a little recap over there. So if you finish it quicker than the end of August and you want to chat with someone immediately, follow me on Fable and we'll have a little chit-chat about it. Hopefully it's all good things. I have high hopes for a haunted house read in August. All right, so I'm going to let you go for today, but thanks for hanging out with me. Enjoy your slow Sunday, and I will see you in my next video.